In this set of modules, we set up our own Linux endpoint. Although this was a fully functioning endpoint setup, it's still a very high-level introduction to endpoints and APIs. Let's look at some further areas you should explore. Cloud applications. In this module, we set up a full Linux server, but that's not always needed. There are many services you can look into that don't require setting up a whole server. You can actually just have the service. Some popular ones are Heroku, AppFog, and AWS. Another thing to consider is using containers. Especially if you plan on building multiple endpoints for your server. You can use something like Docker to create multiple containers for each endpoint. You can put them all on the same cheap little server. It's worth looking into. Here are some popular containers that you can use. There's Docker, Rocket, and LXD, and many more containers being created by the day, although Docker is the most popular and probably the most easy to use at this time. Now, Flask is not your only option. I used Python and Flask for its efficiency and simplicity. It's how I prefer to build my own endpoints for my personal projects. But you can just as easily use something like... As for storage, MariaDB is far from your only option. You can use Postgres, MongoDB, Firebase, Hadoop. And for storage, MariaDB is far from your only option. You can use Postgres, MongoDB, Firebase, Hadoop, many others. Now this endpoint we built is fully functional, but I didn't have a lot of time to dive into security. While you may be just playing around now, you may want to be more serious about making sure others cannot modify or steal your data. In that case, you should start studying some security topics such as Linux security, API security, database security, token-based authentication, and other forms of authentication as well. I hope this has been a good introduction into the world of endpoints. As you advance, you'll start to prefer building your own endpoints more and more. You may want custom interfaces and complicated things involving your data. So you're well on your way to learning how to develop your own custom endpoints for IoT.